Hello and welcome to my Wartales Warrior Class Guide. I'm your host, Methfu. So if this guide managed to help you out even a tiny little bit, please smash that like button. It'll be greatly appreciated. So in this guide, we're going to be going over the best skills, equipment, and class to use as the warrior. Okay, so super quick breakdown. So the warrior is a great off tank, takes a lot of hits, gives out a lot of damage as well. It's more like a bruiser kind of hybrid, I would say. The warrior also has one of the highest burst damage abilities in the game and one of the highest potentials for burst damage as well. It also comes with some of the best area of effect damage in the game as well, since nearly all the weapons do area effect damage. Okay, so moving on to the build for the warrior. So I respected a fresh berserker to show you the path I take down the skill tree. I'll also be going over all the other skills and let you know like why I didn't like them as much as the ones I chose and what I think of them in general. First up, we have the Sentinel. So they get Ovation, which is 2 valor points. All allies engaged in combat gain riposte. Riposte, the next time this unit is attacked by their engaged opponent, they parry with an attack of opportunity. Cancelled if the unit moves. They also gain heavy armor as well. So this skill is a bit heavy to begin with. It costs 2 valor points. Even at 1 valor point, I don't think it'd be worth it. In the current issue of this game at this moment in time, it's better to burst down the enemy rather than let them hit you. So you're literally paying 2 valor points to get the enemy to hit you, rather than actually just try and kill them outright or avoid or mitigate any sort of damage using spear balls or slows or any sort of tactics to stop them to hit you in the first place. So this skill is kind of completely redundant in my opinion. Then over here, we got the heavy armor. So once again in this game, you don't really want to be hit. You want to avoid being hit in the first place. So having that extra armor or extra guard doesn't really help you that much. On top of that, most heavy armors, they -2 movement from your characters. And that's quite big in a tactical heavy game like this. You want to be able to move to your fullest, be able to get to targets quickly, be able to retreat quickly, be able to kind of like move around the battlefield, look for better plays. So having that -2 movement is really, really bad. Right, so our second subclass is Executioner. So they get Cutting Maelstrom, 2 valor points it costs, deals 27 damage to all units in the target area, attacks 1 times for each unit in the target area, and they get medium armor instead of heavy armor instead. So the problem with Cutting Maelstrom is, once again, it's very heavy. It's 2 valor points. Every time we want to use it, it can be absolutely devastating if you use it in the right kind of fight, the right battle, when the stars align. You've literally got 3 or 4, enemies there ready to literally whirlwind them all to death. But that doesn't happen as often as you think. It's very situational because it is very strong, obviously, if you gather them all up and you're able to hit them all. But most of the time, you're not going to be able to do that because you have other allies with you. If you're playing like a 2-man party or 3-man party, maybe, yeah, I can see, a kind of a discussion for this saying, it can be quite strong. But if you're playing in a big group, say, for example, you're playing with 8 people, most of the time, you're going to be stepping on other people's toes, so to speak. You're going to be chopping them as well as the enemies. You'll be chopping everything in range of you. It can be strong, as I said, but once again, it's 2 situational and 2 positioning requirements of yourself and of the enemy. Okay, and they get medium armor. Medium armor is actually fantastic. I feel like it's the best kind of balance of all the armors. It gives you really good crit on most of them, gives you good guard, gives you good armor as well. I feel like it's probably the best kind of armor class in the game compared to light and heavy. Medium armor literally rocks. Right, so last but not least, Berserker. So they get Rampage, 1 valor point it costs. Deals 3 times more, 23 to 35 damage to the target. On critical hit, gains Fury. Critical hit triggered if this ability lands a critical hit. Fury, damage on next attack increased by 50%. Also comes with medium armor. Okay, so Rampage is absolutely insane. It only costs 1 valor point. Deals 3 times 23 to 35 damage. Look at Executioner, Cutting Maelstrom. That costs 2 valor points and does 27 damage, and it's situational, so you need at least 3 targets for that to hit 3 times in a row. Obviously, you're hitting more people, but this burst is just incredible. Also, every time you critically hit, you gain Fury, so you're increasing the damage of the next attack. So even if you get a critical hit right at the end of that chain of 3 times, your next attack, whatever you do, the auto attack, the melee attack, that will literally be a 50% more damage on top of what it would normally would be. Rampage is so strong. You can literally go up to an elite or boss or anything like that. Just put it on them, literally walk next to them, click on them with Rampage, and just watch it delete them out of existence. It's so powerful, so strong, and one of the must-haves, I feel, when you're playing a warrior and play as a class berserker. As I said earlier about medium armor, I feel like medium armor is the best armor you can get in game. It has a great balance of stats. It has crit, it has good guard, it has good armor. It literally is the pinnacle of the best armor you can get. So you might have guessed it already, but we're going berserker. So there goes 1 point. Let's have a look here. So we've got defensive stance. The unit gains deflection. If they are engaged in combat, you gain 1 valor point. Deflection. Damage taken of the next attack reduced by 70%. So as I said earlier, it's better to kill them than it is for them to kill you or even hit you. So even if you're reducing their damage by 70%, you're still being hit by their poisons, their bleeds, their fire, all that kind of thing. So it doesn't actually stop that at all. On top of that, it's very hard to get that valor point because if they engage you, fair enough, you'll get it. But if they don't engage you, say for example, a archer or someone with a range attack like a spearman, you're not getting that valor point, so you're losing out on the resource generation that you could easily get if you chose one of the other abilities at level 3. Oh, and the other thing about defensive stance is once you use it, you can no longer use your base action auto attack anymore, so you literally have to choose between attacking with your weapon or using defensive stance. Moving over to Valorous Chain, every time an attack hits several enemies, you gain 1 valor point. So yes, this is a great resource generation for valor points. The problem is you need to take Executioner first to use it, because if you don't have that, you're literally just relying on auto attacks to gain it. Once again, it's very situational. That's the problem with it, because anything like this is very situational. You don't know what fight you're going to go into where you're going to have everyone kind of, you know, grouped up and you're going to go to town and gain all his valor points back. Right, so Valorous Duel. Every time this unit engages in combat, you gain 1 valor point. You know, it does what it says on the tin. None of this messing about, none of this, you know, hitting multiple enemies, none of this, you know, put the defense on and thing. If they engage you, you get 1 valor point. This literally just does it. You engage the enemy, you get a valor point, you know? It's kind of like a reward. It's like a carrot at the end of the stick. You know you're getting it no matter what. There's none of this situational stuff. You're literally getting that valor point straight away no matter what. So we're going to put a point into Valorous Duel because it is not situational at all. So let's have a look at these. I've got Madness. Damage increased by 50% against units with 30% health or less. Normally, if the enemy has 30% health or less, they're dead anyway. That 50% damage increase isn't really doing a lot in the grand scheme of things, because they're going to be dead. Literally, one of the rangers will kill it. You know, even the fighter will kill it. Anything will kill that 30% health or less. You don't need that extra 50% damage unless you're against a boss or something like that. But even the bosses, once their great armor is gone, you know, they get chunked, they die really quick because they have no guard. Once something has no guard, it literally dies. So this isn't really needed at all. Fanaticism. At the end of their turn, this unit loses 10% of their maximum health to gain Fury. Fury. Damage of the next attack increased by 50%. So, I mean, yeah. Okay, so you're losing 10% of your maximum health. Health's actually quite hard to get during combat. It's actually very difficult to get that. So if you lose all your armor, you're going to probably die quite quickly. And it's, you know, it can happen. You mess up, make a misplay. You lose all your armor straight away to a couple of lucky critical hits from the enemy. And then you're on your red health HP bar. And then bam, you're dead anyway because you're probably below 50 or 60% because of this ability. Also, damage on next attack increased by 50% from Fury. You can pretty much get that off this anyway. I mean, obviously, this is like, you know, RNG, you know, it needs a critical hit to trigger it. But by the time you get to a bit later on in the game, you're going to have around 30-40% crit anyway. So you'll be triggering this quite a lot. So I don't think you need to lose 10% of your maximum HP to be able to trigger an ability that you have actually on your skill already. Moving on to Recklessness. The first skill used in each fight deals 100% extra damage. So this is literally the one I'm picking. It's crazy. 100% extra damage. Just make sure you don't blow it on something silly. Make sure you blow it on like a leader, a boss. Make sure you blow it on a high priority target. Normally with my Berserker, I'll put him in a position ready to blow someone's brains out really quickly just using this right at the start of the fight. Obviously, losing an enemy right at the start of the fight is amazing for your team. That means you're taking less damage, less people to move around, you know, more corpses to run over. It's all good fun. Literally, this makes the Berserker insane. It got nerfed, I think, at some point. It was a lot higher damage than this, but it's still crazy with the nerf. 100% extra damage. Using this as well, the Rampage, it just does so much damage. Level 8 ability Ecstasy. As long as this unit has less than 30% health, they always deal critical hits. So as I said earlier, it's quite easy to get your critical hit up to, 34%, between 34 and 40% as a berserker. So you don't really need to have your health below 30% or at 30%. And also take this ability. So in other words, you're going to die if you do this. You're literally going to die really quickly, especially when you take out your armor. Dying is really bad in games. I mean, I've learned this the hard way myself, dying a lot. But dying is really bad. You don't want to do that. It sucks. Next up, challenging shout. Draws within melee range all the enemies in the area. Applies fragility for 1 round. So the enemy is disengaged by this 3-meter area. Damage taken increased by 30%. Okay, so this is actually pretty strong, this one. This is actually pretty powerful, but the only problem with this is it's situational again, plus you need to kind of take this as well to make it worth it. So you need to draw them all in using 1 valor point and then use another 2 valor points to kind of chop them all up into pieces. Also, once again, it's powerful, but it's very situational, similar to the Maelstrom once again. It's very situational because a lot of time you're probably going to only be able to hit up to 2 to 3 people. Most of the time the enemies aren't going to be in a big group of 8. The stars aren't going to align, and there are going to be 8 enemies all together ready for you to chop up using the Maelstrom. So yeah, I mean, it is good. It's, fairly decent, especially compared to Ecstasy. It's very good, but compared to Battlecry, it doesn't beat it. I mean, it's still good if you take the Maelstrom build and, you're playing with a smaller team and you want to chop up more people. But the problem is when you play with a smaller team, you're going to get less enemies anyway. So you get less chances to use all your kind of area of attack abilities and be able to use a challenging shout as well. That's 3 valor points just to do some AoE damage pretty much. Battle Cry, 1 valor. The unit and all allies in the area gain brutality for 2 rounds. Brutality, damage increased by 30%. So this is the one I would pick. Literally, brutality is crazy. Number 1, the area is massive. It's 6-meter area. Literally hits almost the whole map. That's a slight exaggeration. It hits most of the map. Literally, it's just crazy. It gives everyone 30% more damage. I mean, what more can you ask for? It lasts for 2 rounds as well. So everyone in your team, they all get that 30% more damage increase. Really insane. It also gives the Berserker some added support. Since the Berserker is quite a selfish kind of, class, it kind of just goes in, does its thing, Rambo's in, kills something. This gives it a bit of support utility. So it gives everyone else some buff as well in your team, keeps everyone else fighting longer, and keeps everyone else doing more damage. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades for the skills. So for Rampage, this one now ignores guard when it's upgraded. So what it means is if they have any guard, like a shield or any sort of armor on them, this will go straight through that and do full damage. There'll be no damage mitigation or damage reduction happening at all. And you'll literally just hit them for pure damage straight away. Then on to Battle Cry. This lasts for 3 rounds instead of 2. So yeah, it lasts for 3 rounds. In other words, you've got more of a duration, more up time on it, and you don't have to renew it so quickly. Most time in battles, I don't really even renew it at 2 rounds. So 3 rounds, I'm pretty sure it's going to last the whole battle pretty much. So Recklessness, the first skill used in each fight deals 150% extra damage. So that's up by 50% from 100%. So it's literally doing 150 instead of 100. Really crazy. It means you can literally take down the big shield guys as well. Take down literally everything you throw your axe on. Really insane upgrade. So the upgrade to Cutting Maelstrom is Fatal Blow attacks again. Fatal Blow triggered if this ability kills the target. So what this means is while you're blaze storming, whirling around, hitting everything, if you manage to kill something with one of those hits, it will attack again. So the problem with this is most of the time when you're blaze storming everything down or maelstromming everything down, you'll be attacking fairly high HP targets unless you line them all up like you do with your rangers to get the killing blows. So most of the time it won't actually be necessary to attack again with the Fatal Blow. Obviously it's nice to have as an extra attack just in case it happens, but I can't see it being very consistent, or I don't see it being very consistent most of the time when I've been using it myself. Right, so Challenging Shout's upgrade is draws within melee range all the enemies in the area and applies fragility for 1 round. So in other words, they don't have to be engaged and you don't have to disengage them out of their engagement to be able to apply that 30% damage increase. This is a fairly worthy upgrade, I guess. I mean, it actually should be kind of baseline in my opinion. It should just be on there automatically, given that the radius of it is quite small anyway. 3 meters isn't very large. Most time you're only hitting 3 or 4 people with that if you get lucky. So I feel like this should be a baseline and not something that's added on. I feel like if they're going to add on something, they should have made it 4 meters, you know, as an upgrade instead of 3. Instead of having this, that should have been a baseline thing anyway, because most of the time when you're fighting enemies, you're not going to be fully engaged with them, because as I said before, you don't want to take damage. You don't want to trade blows. You want to quickly get in there, hit them, hit and run, get out. Right, so Madness upgrade. Damage increased by 50% against units with 50% health or less. So it's gone up by 20%. So instead of having them at 30% and you get that 50% damage increase, you can now get that 50% damage increase at them when they're 50%. But the problem with that is that once they're on that red HP bar, or even around 50% anyway, they're going to die. It doesn't matter if you have the 50% damage increase against them. It doesn't matter if you have a 100% damage increase against them. Once they're around 50% HP on red, they're going to die anyway. It doesn't really make a difference if you have this talent or the skill or not. Okay, Ovation upgrade. All allies engaged in combat gain riposte. All allies not engaged in combat gain inspiration for 1 round. Inspiration, movement doubled. So having your movement doubled is actually amazing in combat. It's actually incredible. It means you can do more plays. You know, you can literally run up to stuff, get the leader you need to get to the archer, you can shoot, you can do hit and run tactics, bit of guerrilla warfare kind of thing. But the problem is it still costs 2 valor points and it's an upgrade. That is quite the joke. Literally, this should be baked into the original skill in the first place to make it even worth me thinking that a skill might actually be good and worth taking. But even with it baked in, it still wouldn't be worth it at all. Right, so XC upgrade, as long as this unit has less than 50% health, they always deal critical hits. So it's a slight upgrade to the original ability, which is 30% HP instead of 50. But the whole thing is, I think I mentioned it earlier in the guide, if you're around 50% HP and have no great armor left, you're going to die, especially on the hard difficulties. You're going to hit that ground pretty hard. I mean, you can probably try and base your team around it and protect the berserker, you know, have like 3 or 4 spearmen, you know, like it's like some sort of secret service and the berserker's the president. You can try and do that kind of thing to make sure your berserker has those guaranteed critical hits that you don't really need anyway, because the berserker has pretty much guaranteed critical hits. But as you can see, like, you don't really need that guaranteed, you know, critical hits. I feel like this skill is insanely redundant and you don't want to be around 50% HP because you will die. So skills to add to berserker at the beginning of the game or later on using skill books. Wrath costs 1 valor point. Deals 64 damage to the target if they have less than 50% health left. Fatal blow. This unit gains fury. Fury, damage on the next attack increased by 50%. So in other words, if you run out of damage abilities and they're low, you know, below 50% health, you will hit them pretty hard and most likely you'll be able to kill them and finish them off. I normally put Wrath on every single character I have, apart from the archer because they can't use it because it's a melee ability, but I use on everyone just because Wrath, it just gives you that extra bit of damage to be able to kill something, and sometimes that's all you need to be able to stop yourself from dying or to be able to take the enemy out before they hit you. The other skill book I normally put on the berserker is Taunt, 1 valor point. Forces the target to engage and inflicts weakening to them for 1 round. Weakening, damage reduced by 50%. So, as I said earlier, you don't really want your berserker tanking. The reason I mainly have this is so I can kind of engage something after I've killed a few things or killed something. I can walk up to something else, taunt it to engage it to me to allow my rangers to get behind them and do loads of backstab damage. Because normally if the ranger tries to attack something and is not engaged by something already, they will automatically turn around and engage your ranger. But you don't want that to happen. You want your ranger to be able to hit the backs to get damage increases and use their abilities better. So I normally take the taunt just to help them out a bit. And also, literally, if I can't avoid taking any damage, reducing the damage by 50% is also very nice to have. Okay, so this is a fight to show the power of the berserker and how to play it and how strong it can be when it's built properly and in the right team. So most fights, I'll start the berserker near the enemy leader, just so I can instigate it to take away the leader bonus. Because I've got the passive, whereas it recklessness, the first skill used in each fight deals 150% extra damage. So normally I'll use that straight away on the leader using a rampage just to kind of take him out the fight straight away. But in this case, I need to actually stop them from attacking me first, because this is going to walk up and start smashing us. I'm going to grab the harpoon guy first, move him here. Let's move a bit closer so I can get some stabs in if I can. Some gentle stabbings. Gentle stabbings! There we go. Let's run him back now. And then let's point this that way. Ready for when he comes towards. Bam. There we go. Some more gentle stabbings. So he's got 4 stacks of poison on him already. Okay. So. Oh, he's so close standing in the circle. So close. Now we grab our berserker. And we walk him up. Really sneaky. Sneaky beaky. And then bam! Bam! Oh my god, the leader's out there. As you see, the berserker literally berserks. So incredible. I'm not sure I'll be able to hit him with that. I'm going to try though. Oh, he's just out of range. So close. But so far. That rock's in the way. I'm just going to pull him back. And then turn. Okay, so what we've got left. Marauder over here. I think I will engage that Marauder. The fighter to stop him from doing stuff. Don't like when people try and do stuff. It's not cool. Stop doing stuff, Marauder. Stop doing stuff. I'm not going to slam dunk him either. Hey! What did I say about doing stuff? Right. So, that Marauder's going to do stuff as well in a sec. And then the Hoodlum. So we'll bring up the Pikeman. Normally I always put the Pikeman close to the Berserker or a Harpoon or Spearman, just to stop the enemies from retaliating on it. Because the Berserker is really strong, but it can be quite squishy compared to the fighter. I mean, he's got 57% guard, 254 armor, and 120 HP, whereas the Berserker's 113, 82, and 19% guard. So yeah, it's a lot more dangerous for the Berserker. So I'm actually going to knock... I might actually knock you back instead. Yeah, I'll knock you back. Because you got a really... This one's got a really tricky angle. Whereas if I put it there, it's probably going to walk around. If I put it there, it's probably going to walk around here. So if I do that instead, he can't reach either of us. This one's definitely going to come this way towards the Pikeman. Because there's a rock in the way, so it's like a little bottleneck. Let's do that. Hello. Goodbye. Okay. So, a Hoodlum here. And then a Wrongdoer. So we move the Cutthroat here. Stab. I'm not sure we've got enough to kill him, but we're going to try anyway. Yep. Okay, and then I think we'll just walk away over to here. Where it's safe. Or safer. Oh, I was hoping to stand in the lightning. Right, Assassin's turn. And then it's you. You. Okay. Let's walk up again. I'm pretty sure I can kill him. Yep. Assassin hits really hard. I'm going to walk behind here as well. Get some damage off. Oh, I've got to leave clouds of poison everywhere when I double attack things. Need to be more careful with that. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Here we go. Bam! Okay, then we can walk over here as well where it's safe again. Smasher. Let's go move here. Yeah, move here. Smash. Yeah, he couldn't reach. So he went the way I thought he was going to go. But I thought it was too risky just in case I pointed it in the wrong direction. No one likes that. Position you here. I'll take a shot at most likely you. Oh, bam! So I've got guaranteed crit next round. Oh, I was hoping to stand in the lightning. No one's standing in the lightning. Stand in the lightning, goddammit. God damn it, guys. God damn it. Marauder. Wrongdoer. Okay. So grab the Berserker again. Time to Berserk. So move here. Smash. Go for Wrath. As you see, the Berserker literally, even without the passive 150% extra damage on the first hit of the battle, it still is wrecking everything inside. I haven't even put Brutality on yet as well, because I was waiting to group up to do that. Now we're good to go. The only person I didn't get is the tank, which doesn't matter that much. So 200 damage there from this next swing. Because guaranteed crit. pretty strong, and that's an AoE attack as well, so I can literally have hit like 3 or 4 people at the same time with that. Pretty crazy. Okay, so equipment time. So I've got the Splitter two-handed axe. I got it from Elite Boss. It has 47 strength, has critical hit 10%. So I put in the sharpening oil for that. I feel like the sharpening oil is probably the best oil that you can use on the Berserker. It literally increases its damage output by so much just because I attack 3 times. Plus, with the ability from the Splitter, I also have Slice and Dice. Deals 64 damage to all units in the area. The damage is shared among the units hit, who share the same number of bloodshed applications. So bloodshed loses 1 health per application in the end of their turn and is then removed. Stackable. Really crazy. Literally does the base damage, the big hit straight away, and after that it applies a dot, and that dot ticks for a lot at the end of the turn. Can hit for like up to 124, something ridiculous like that. It literally ticks for so much. Really strong weapon. I feel like it is probably the strongest weapon for the Berserker in general, and probably for the Warrior in general, unless you're going tank spec. It literally is crazy. This Elite Boss weapon, literally crazy. Right, so over to armor. I normally always take medium armor with critical hit, guard, and armor pretty much. So I always go for critical hit on the medium armor, just so we have a higher critical hit. As you can see, it's 31% at this moment in time, so the higher the better on the Berserker. And I've actually enchanted a reinforced layer of the Serpent, which I feel like is the best kind of layer you can put in. So this one gives you 2 strength and 2 critical hits. So if you have a slot in your armor, you can put that straight in there. And I feel like it is the best one for the Berserker. Right, and to finish off our little package of all our accessories and equipment, all that, we have a belt accessory, critical damage plus 15%. So as you know, our end game is critically hit as much as possible. So we hover over here, we have critical damage increased by 72%. That is almost double our damage every time we critically hit with anything. That is really insane. Massive burst, massive damage right there. Right, so professions for the Berserker. I would either take the Blacksmith for the strength increase, or I'll be taking the Tinkerer for the critical hit chance increase as well. So it's literally between those two. The rest of them, I mean, Cook gives Constitution. You don't really want your Berserker tanking. This gives Dex, it's not your main stat. This gives Constitution again. Once again, you don't want tanking. Willpower is not that great of a stat at the moment in this game. It's okay. It's very niche, but doesn't do a lot. And then we've got another Dex as well, Alchemist, and then Alchemist later on gets Dex and Crit. But I think, yeah, the best for Berserker will be Blacksmith or Tinkerer, if you want to take one of the two, just to make sure they're doing as much damage as possible. Okay, so that about wraps up my best build guide for Warrior. If you have any suggestions on how to make this class even more powerful, I look forward to hearing it. I'm also going to be covering the other classes in best build guides as well, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.